First and foremost, all praises are due to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth. Salutations to the brothers around the four corners of the earth who are teaching this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel who listen and believe in this word. This is Brother Karat Zabad coming at you with another lesson. This one is entitled, Yahawah the Most High Does Hate. You know, there's a misconception that Yahawah the Most High, who people commonly refer to as God, that He's all love. You know, they think He's all good. You know, all goody two shoes and all love, but He created both sides, both love and hate, both light and darkness. You know, He's a Lord of balance. So it isn't all He's just goody two shoes and everything is good. He indeed does hate, and there are scriptures to prove that. Let's start off with Proverbs, the 6th chapter, and verse 16. These 6 things doth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto Him. Verse 17, a proud look. A lot of our people are very prideful, have a lot of pride, and pride is looked down upon by the Most High Yahawah. A lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. So He doesn't like a liar, He hates a liar, and He doesn't like murderers. Now, somebody that kills somebody and is justified, that's different than a murderer. A murderer basically premeditates before he does that. You know, so a murderer and a killer are two different things, because there's killing all throughout the Bible. You know, David killed people, but he was fighting other nations, and most of those killings, you know, they were justified, so to speak. And many other people also killed, particularly in the Old Testament, and even some in the New Testament. Moses killed a man because he seen an Egyptian, you know, messing with his fellow man. He knew he was a Hebrew Israelite, and he seen an Egyptian soldier messing with somebody who was a Hebrew Israelite, and he killed the man. And then he ended up fleeing. But that was justified, you know, due to the circumstances. It wasn't premeditated. Murder is premeditated. So Yahawah hates that. Let's move on. Proverbs 6 and verse 7. He also hates these things. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. Somebody that's always plotting wicked, being wicked, plotting on people, you know, plotting the deceitful things. Okay? Feet that be swift and running to mischief, a troublemaker. So he hates those things. And we got many people like that amongst us, you know, our fellow Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. A lot of people are swift to run towards mischief, gossip, starting shit. So you got a lot of that going on. Proverbs 6 and verse 19. He also hates a false witness that speaketh lies. You know, bearing false witness against your brother or sister, lying on them. And he that soweth discord among the brethren. That's also speaking about your Hebrew Israelite brothers who are in this truth. You have other brothers that may speak down on them or talk about them, you know, in a certain way behind their back. And that causes discord in this ministry. And we can't have that in this ministry. So let's continue on. Let's go to another precept. Let's go to Proverbs, the 8th chapter, in the 13th verse. Proverbs 8 and verse 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. So if you love the Lord and fear Him, more importantly, you're going to hate evil. You're going to hate evil. All right? Pride and arrogancy in the evil way. In the froward mouth do I hate. What is that word, froward? Well, froward means to be perverse. All right? Perverse in speech. Okay, crooked, twisted, false, fraudulent speech. So he also hates. Basically, that's saying some of the same things from last scripture. Let's read this again. Proverbs 8, verse 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Okay, so if you love the Lord, fear him. You fear the Lord, you hate evil. You hate wickedness, pride, and arrogancy. In the evil way, in the froward mouth, do I hate. So we have two examples there that Yahawah does indeed hate. All right, the Most High, Yahawah, he does hate. Let's go to another precept. Let's go to Zechariah, the 8th chapter. We got Zechariah 8 in verse 16, I believe. Zechariah, the 8th chapter, verse 16. Okay, let's, is that the right? Zechariah 8, 16 and 7? Okay. Zechariah 8 and verse 16. These are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth in peace in your gates. So he's saying, be truthful with your neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth. If you're going to do, if you're dealing with judgment, do it in truth. Zechariah 8 and 17. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor. So that's basically love your neighbor as thyself. And love no false oath. So don't bear false witness against your neighbor. For all these are things that I hate, saith the Lord. You see? So he hates those things. Particularly he hates when we go against each other. One of the commandments is love your neighbor as thyself. So if you're committing adultery, sleeping with your neighbor's wife, bearing false witness against your neighbor, stealing against your neighbor, robbing, sowing discord, talking about your neighbor behind his back, that's not showing that you love, Yahawah. More or less even loving your neighbor, your fellow Hebrew Israelite brother and sister. So loving your neighbor as thyself, that covers a majority of the commandments, particularly the first 10 commandments. Because it's showing you love Yahawah the Most High because you love his people. And you're not going to do anything to violate your neighbor. So let's continue on. Let's get another precept. Let's go to Isaiah 45 and 7. And this will illustrate that Yahawah, he creates both the good and the bad. He's the creator of everything, and he controls everything. He controls Satan. He controls the left-handed, the angels on the left side and the angels on the right side. He controls both aspects. He's omnipotent. He's the sole controller. He's running the whole show. So we're all just pawns in his game. Isaiah 45 and verse 7. This is Yahawah talking, the Most High. I form the light and create darkness. So he created the sun and he created the nighttime. So he created the sun for the daytime and created the nighttime, and he created the moon. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. You see? So he's the supreme power. He controls everything. So he creates the good and the bad. He controls both sides. So he has the right to hate if he wants to, because he created everything. Who are we to say anything against Yahawah the Most High? And if you fear him, you wouldn't do that anyway. Let's continue on. Let's go to, I think I have one more. Is it one more precept? Yeah, I have one more precept. Let's go to Romans 9. That's the New Testament. We got Romans chapter 9 and Romans chapter 9 and verse 9. We'll start off with that. Romans 9 and 9. And this is talking about Sarah and her birthing, her having a son with Abraham, of course, who was Isaac, and then Isaac had Jacob and Esau, which were two separate nations. And we know Jacob produced 12 sons, which are the 12 tribes of Israel, or, the Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And of course, Esau was so-called white man, okay, that was in her womb also, okay? He was an Edomite. It means wasted away, Esau. He didn't have any color, all right? So that's the so-called white man. So there were two nations inside of her, the Israelites and the Edomites. So let's start off with Romans 9 and Verse 9, for this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And she had a son with Abraham. His name was Isaac. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. So that's saying, Rebekah conceived with Isaac, who was born of Abraham and Sarah, and she conceived, with our father Isaac, one of our forefathers. That's what it's saying. All right. Let's continue on. Romans 9. And actually Isaac is the forefather of nations, but he is the forefather of the Edomites and the Israelites. If you just want to just to be I can't think of the word, just in general, okay, you know what I mean, hypothetically, so to speak. Romans 9, hypothetically, he's the father, you know what I mean, he's the forefather of the Edomites and the Israelites, if you just want to be spot on. Romans 9 and verse 11. Okay. For the children being not born yet, this is talking about Isaac and Jacob, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Yahawah, the Most High, according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. So that's basically saying that, we can get the NLT for that too, but that's basically saying that he birthed both Isaac and Jacob, okay, in the womb of Sarah for his purposes. Okay, one will be called to election. One would be special to him, which is Jacob, okay, who had 12 sons, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, not because of works. So it didn't matter what the Edomites did as far as works, but of him that calleth, So he chose Jacob to be the chosen, okay, out of the womb of Sarah versus Esau, who was an Edomite. So it doesn't matter that they both, they didn't know good or evil. They were both born with a purpose in mind. All right. And we know the purpose in mind for Jacob was to have 12 sons, which was the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. And that was the promise that he made to Abraham a long time ago, before even Isaac and Jacob were even born, that you'd be given a land. All right. And that through you, there would be a chosen people. And those chosen people are the Israelites. Now, you also have the elect of Israel who will be beamed up in those ships on the day of the Lord. When Yahawah comes back with the chariots, only 1/3 out of the whole of the Hebrew Israelites will be beamed up in those chariots, those ships, so to speak. Now, the 2/3 that don't make it of the Hebrew Israelites, who will be destroyed by the nuclear bombs coming from Russia and the other nations, as well as the laser fire coming from the chariots, Babylon's going to be a lake of fire. Babylon, America. The 2/3 will be born in the loins of the 1/3 that make it into the kingdom with Yahawah during the 1,000-year reign. So Yahawah, through his sacrifice, did redeem all of Israel. He bought us back. But only 1/3. So you have Israel, then you have the elect of Israel, who will make it up on this side into those chariots. Let's read that again. Romans 9 and verse 11. Let's go to the NLT for that and get the translation for that. If it comes, okay, this is the NLT for Romans 9 and 11. And this is talking about Jacob and Esau. But before they were born, before they had done anything, before they could even do good or evil, good or bad, she received a message from Yahawah. This is Rebekah. This message shows that Yahawah chooses people to his purposes. So he chose out of Esau and Jacob to be his special people. And then he chose Esau for wickedness, okay? Because you have 3 types of men. You have the sons of the wicked, all right? Those are the Edomites. You have the sons of men. Those are the other nations, all right? And you also have the sons of God, the sons of Yahawah. All right, that's us, the Hebrew Israelites. We're the sons of Yahawah. We're the sons of God, spoken about in the Bible. So he chooses people according to his own purposes. He can do whatever he wants. Like I said, the previous scripture I had just read in Zechariah. Let's go back here. Let's read this again. Romans 9, and this is him telling Rebekah, this is what's going to happen. It was said unto her, Rebekah, the elder shall serve the younger, because Esau came out first. They were twins, but Esau was born first, and then Jacob was born. All right. In Romans 9, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So they were already predestined. It was already predestined. All right. So he loves Jacob and he hates Esau, so-called white man. So he loves Jacob, the Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and he hates Esau, the wicked, the sons of the wicked. So it's already been predestined. There's nothing that you can do. He's omnipotent. He can do whatever he wants because he's created everything, Yahawah. So you can't say anything against that. So like I said, Yahawah the Most High, he does hate. All right? There's no denying that. We have several examples that I just gave you. So let's continue on. Romans 9 and verse 14. Now, of course, this is Paul speaking. He's giving you a background of Jacob and Esau, etc. Romans 9 and verse 14. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with Yahawah? Okay, Lord forbid. Okay, so what you going to say? Is he unrighteous? Are you to question Yahawah at all? He's the creator of everything, the universe, the planets, the world, people, animals, etc. So are you going to say he's unrighteous? Paul's like, Lord forbid. You don't want to do that. Romans 9 and verse 15. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Basically, he's saying I do what the hell I want to do. Okay, you ain't gonna do nothing about it. And hate in this example, when he said Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated, it's just a preference of one nation over another. Simply, okay. Hate can also be described as that, as you prefer one thing over another. All right. A lot of times people say, "Oh, I hate eating vegetables, but I love meat." Okay, so you prefer meat over vegetables. All right. So Romans 9, and let's read that again. Romans 9, verse 15. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. I basically do whatever I want to do. You ain't going to Romans with mercy. So he showed mercy unto Jacob. All right. Let's get a little translation comparison and we'll be done here. All right. Let's get the NLT. So it is Yahawah. This is Romans 9:16, the NLT. So it is Yahawah who decides to show mercy. We can neither choose it nor work for it. So it's up to him, point blank. So on that note, I hope this lesson was very edifying to you. And I want to give all praises to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawah Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash, Shalom.